What's up, frogs, friends, and fam? Welcome back to Marketflow, powered by Thor, hosted by Mode. We're going to get right into the markets. We've got some major movement, things waking up in not only just Bitcoin, but Solana and ETH is finally starting to show some life. You know that shit chain Ethereum? Yeah, it's finally coming back to life. But what do we got here for Bitcoin? You see, we pumped up to this first soul short that we talked about last week, and we have another short sitting here right above all-time highs. The RSI is starting to get up a little bit, but nothing crazy. This is complete bullish territory. At this point, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see the full retrace back down here to the EMA, a retest on the long-term EMA, or if we're going to continue to pump up. Either way, this is why when we look at Bitcoin on Thor and we look at that short, we go to risk management. You go ahead and you put in the quote currency that your amount you want to, the amount you're willing to risk. Calculate, and you always know your stop loss. I usually look here to the median of Thor so I know where to enter, where to exit, and I know my stop loss. Stop loss is always important if you're going to go against the flow. You know, the trend is your friend until it ends. Thor often counter trades those trends. That's why it has specific entrance and also specific exit. Also use risk management. So that being said, if we go back, we also see these calls that were just printed. I haven't even charted them yet. There's some long entries. Oh, went down a little too far. Long entries that are sitting down really low. But you can see they all invalidate right here at about 72,000. So essentially, if we break up above these last candles, if we break this last high right here, those calls invalidate. So I'm not going to go ahead and chart them right now. Just wanted you to be aware there are some long calls. With our own TA, remember we were saying we wanted to be DCAing here at 62, had multiple opportunities to be DCAing in here at 62, and we said you wanted to DCA down here at 56. If you didn't get it, you didn't buy at 62, you're now buying it at 70, 71, right? That's the way the market makers play this game. They don't wait for you. It looks like the bull is coming back in. I mean, things are looking strong. As long as we hold these supports above the EMAs, as long as we hold support above neutral on the RSI, things are looking strong for Bitcoin to potentially just rip right back up, test all-time highs. Remember, we do have the short sitting here at 74,000. There was a short printed at 82,000 before we began taking this retrace. In my mind, that data point is still sticking with me of 82,000, so we'll see if something happens with that. Moving on to Solana. Solana, remember, we had a stack of short calls, and people think, well, wait a minute, short calls, that's not good. I thought we were bullish. Well, you got to pump to go into shorts, right? And we've actually pumped up enough that these long calls down here have now been invalidated. No more longs down here for Solana. So remember our best entrance that we got, we talked about this right here, all the way back here. We said, hey, we need to come down and test this top again. That was actually our best entry after retrace, was when we retested those tops before we started moving on. Solana, since that point, just since the tops, not even the very bottom, has gone up over 40%. If you remember last week on stream, I said I was kind of nervous about this short call right here. Once we hit right here and started to retrace, I said if we find support in this zone, I think we're going to blow right through this short call. You can see we had minor resistance and then found support on it, blew right through, right into the short at 185. Now, what's significant here that I want to talk about is the entrance of 185, the entry point here at the 200 zone, and even the entry point here at 220. All the take profits are down here between 171 and 165, right? So 170 to 165, you have all those zones coming together right here to take profit at one point. That to me signifies that there is going to be a strong retest in this zone here at some point. Uh, will it be directly from this short? Will we hit the take profit, or will we maybe pump up to the next two? You can see what I even called, kind of predicted, is us just kind of slowly moving up, and then I think we're going to retrace from here about 225, come back down and retest these zones. We'll see what happens. How volatile do things get? If they really pump up, they're going to take a big retrace. retrace. If we slowly leg up and make moves, that's perfect. I don't know that we'll make this big a retrace if we fill these two shorts first. So remember, Thor isn't saying that this is the top of the market. Not saying this is the top of the market. It's just saying if we hit these entrance zones, there's a high probability that we retest somewhere down here around 70 before we go mega bullish again, breaking that 225. So keep watch on that. We have to take a look at ETH simply because ETH went crazy. And look at that. We were calling entry down here on top of the zone. Use that resistance to become a support. You can see it became strong support, strong support, strong support. We've got our break. We've got the bullish cross. We don't yet have the retest though. I would not be chasing ETH right now. ETH is not in the buy zone for me. It has left the buy zone. If I'm looking at ETH, this is without looking at Thor. This is strictly my own TA right now. I would be looking for that retrace to come back, test the EMAs, test the downtrend, find some type of support, and looking to long from that position. I wouldn't chase the pump. I'd be looking to wait for some type of support. Now, what is significant especially is if we look back here when ETH was at the same price and we take it all the way here right before ETH found support on the EMA, that's 65 days. That's over 2 months. 2 months of red, 2 months of blood in the street, 2 months of pain to get erased with 2 candles in a single day. Okay? It can take just a couple green candles to erase a whole lot of red. That's why you got to be buying on the way down if you have conviction, if you're going to sell on the way up. Because if you weren't buying ETH at 29 and 3,000, you're now buying it at a premium of 3,800 or possibly more. We'll see where it goes. I would not be chasing it. I would be waiting for some type of support. What do we have with Kira? Dog has moved with Bitcoin as well. We were charting that live on stream. The alpha, well, I guess you got to be there inside of the Frogs Discord with us for live stream if you want that alpha. Kira, same thing. We're down here, back down into the zone. We're just waiting to break trend. We've made the retrace that we wanted to see. We've come down between 60 and 80%. Is there a team that supports this? Yes. Is there a strong narrative with it? AI, decentralized, hedge fund management, trading. Yeah, I'd say there's a narrative with it. Is there a strong community that supports it? You fucking right, frogs fuck. Is there a reason for it exists in the first place? It's made a hell of a lot of people money and changed lives for us thus far. So I agree with yes, yes, yes. So I think this is going to have its time. Not financial advice. Do your own research. Bonk. We got to talk about Bonk. Bonk is, in my opinion, the dog of Solana. I don't care what anyone says. Forget hats or whatever else you want to put on them. Bonk is the dog of Solana. So we're going to move this to a 4-hour chart, give us a little more expanded view. Remember, we said
Holy shit,
our
did I go in the
price gap.
Matrix?
Hang on, bro. I'm recording here. We got a fair price gap here. We knew we were going to revisit. We said this was the entrance zone that we were looking for. Anywhere in or below this zone is where we were looking to get bonk. If you picked up bonk anywhere in this zone, or let's just even say from the top of it, even from the top of the zone, we've already made an 80% move. Very strong, very healthy. You can see it's making retests on the levels. It's not just going straight up. This looks like extremely healthy movement from Bonk, and I expect us to see all-time highs. Bonk is the dog of Solana. And if you want to trade Bonk, all you got to do, you get yourself enough frogs. You even have Bonk calls here from Thor. So DCA with Jupiter. This is another tool I talked about earlier today, and I wanted to make sure I brought it to your guys' attention too. You can DCA, if I wanted to put money into Solana and I wanted to say I wanted to buy it under $155, we go back to the charts. Remember, we said our zone was down here below this blue price box. Anywhere below here, we were saying was a good area to start stacking up SOL. So I could have set Jupiter to make buys for me anywhere under this $155. I could enter the amount that I want. I could enter the price maximum. How often do I want it to make a trade for me, make a buy for me? How many orders do I want this to break up in? Jupiter has also announced some new partners that is going to expand Solana ecosystem entirely, trading entirely to mobile, to new assets. I can't say it enough. Bullish on Jupiter. If we were saying Jupe under $1 was a blessing. At this point, I think anything under $1.20 for Jupiter at this point, I think is a blessing to us. It's just consistently more and more bullish news for Jupiter coming out. This team is steady building, steady delivering. They did over 100 billion in perpetual volume in Q1. Think about that shit. So we said here, anywhere under this price gap, anywhere under $1, anywhere under here is where you wanted to be buying. Perfect time to accumulate Jupe. With all the news coming out, we've already seen $1.30. We knew we were going to see a little resistance here, right? We knew we were going to see resistance. I'm kind of saying buying on this zone. If you don't have enough Jupe, none of us do. If you don't have enough Jupe, you may want to look to add to your bag here. And again, get enough frogs, you have Jupe. You can look to Jupe, have calls on Thor to tell you when you should be entering, when you should be exiting Jupe to make the most of your positions. Sol's looking strong. We look to be finding support. Bitcoin is looking strong. ETH is looking insane. Is that ETF news or is there something else going on? Not sure. Don't get shaken out of your positions. If you're going to short a bull market, make sure you're using a tight stop loss. You can most certainly make a lot of money shorting in the bull, but don't expose yourself because you can get left behind. Make sure you're using tight stop losses. Not financial advice. Do your own research. Frogs fuck. Thor Prince. Appreciate all y'all.